The drag curl is a movement that was popularized by most notably Vince Gironda, and it really just enhances the mind to muscle connection, and it really brings out the size of the arm. Give it a shot. Let's get some big arms, baby. Now, there's a couple of things that I want you to understand even before getting into this movement, and that's gonna be first, your hand positioning, okay? With your hands, although a barbell does not bend, which is actually the benefit of using dumbbells, what you can do is you can imply that you are turning your wrist out, okay? So this external rotation at the wrist is what you're trying to imply when you have the barbell in your hand. One way that we can do that is implying it through the brain, and also as you're lifting, it's like you're constantly trying to turn out. When I externally rotate, the peak stands up. So this is neutral, this is internally rotated, neutral, and then peak, right? So this external rotation allows us to really flex the bicep at its full potential. That's one way. But then we can take that step one bit further. And how we do that is we simply really push down hard on the pinky and the ring finger. These two fingers are absolutely essential to press into that bar. The next thing that you want to focus on is the wrist position. We're going to simply drop the knuckles under the wrist. So here's the wrist. We're simply going to drop the knuckles under that point relative to where the wrist is at neutral. So it doesn't mean you have to be way down here, but you definitely need to be slightly under that wrist. And if you go below that, that's completely fine, as long as you have a firm grip on that bar, again, focusing most of your energy through these two fingers. The next phase is going to be your shoulder position. Your shoulders should always be down and back. As to drive the chest up, okay? The chest needs to be up. What this does is it takes a lot of the tension out of the shoulder that would otherwise activate, okay? So the shoulder would otherwise be active if the shoulders slipped forward. And therefore, you'd be able to feel a lot of this movement in your anterior or your front delt. Now, lastly is gonna be your chin. Your chin should be back as to not drive it forward. Anytime you drive your chin forward, you also activate your trapezius. We want to kind of keep the trap silent, because if we lift, the first thing that's going to happen is we will literally shrug while we lift, and we don't want that because that takes away from the bicep. So again, we have the shoulders down and back, we have the chin back too, and then we're just curling without driving up the shoulders. When it comes to your feet position, all you're gonna do is shoulder width distance. That's simply keeping your shoulders and your heels in one line. The difference with the drag curl is from a neutral standing position, which is where your glutes are completely tight and your spine is neutral. You're gonna drop your hips back a bit. As you can see, I'm now at an incline. So I have an incline from my shoulder down to my lumbar. Okay, so cervical spine to the lumbar. And all we're gonna do now is we're gonna never let this bar leave the body while squeezing the crap out of the bar and driving the bar into the body. Okay, all of those things matter. So as I curl, I'm driving the bar into my body, getting a strong contraction at the top. And then I'm also, as I'm lowering the bar, it also never comes off of the body. Hence the name drag curl. Now with the drag curl, you may prefer to have your hands shoulder width distance or slightly wider than that, but never inside of shoulder width distance. Very controlled, very strong squeeze at the top. Very big mind to muscle connection all the way through. If this bar ever leaves your body, you're not doing a drag curl. So really drive the elbows back, bar into the body, curl. Drive the elbows back, bar into the body, Let's get some strong arms.